Welcome to Chapter Shift, the place where great books become life-changing ideas. Every week we explore the wisdom behind the world's most influential books so you can learn faster, think deeper, and grow with every chapter. Let's begin. The One Thing.
Welcome to today's Wazahat. Today, we are unlocking the absolute Raz to Kamyabi, the ultimate secret to massive success. And to really set the stage for this, I want you to picture the classic comedy movie City Slickers. There's this absolutely brilliant scene where the gritty old cowboy, Curly, turns to Billy Crystal's character, holds up a single finger, and tells him the secret to life is just one thing. You stick to that and everything else don't mean a thing. Well, let me tell you, Curly was totally right. But to really wrap our heads around this concept, we also need to look at a rather famous Russian proverb. Okay, let's dive right into this.
So the proverb starts out simply enough. It says, if you chase two rabbits, now let's be real, we have all been there, right? Running idhar udhar, splitting our focus, trying to grab every single shiny opportunity that hops across our path. But here is the reality check. Dono bhag jayenge. Both of them are gonna run away.
Exactly. You will not catch either one. If you are out there chasing two rabbits, you are coming home empty-handed. I mean, you won't get a rabbit, but hey, you will definitely get a whole lot of cardio for the day. It's a pretty funny mental picture, but it completely hits the nail on the head regarding how we constantly scatter our energy.
And that brings us to a massive myth that we seriously need to bust today. The lie we are constantly sold by society is that everything matters equally. We're taught that we have to multitask, that we need to keep all these different plates spinning in the air at once. But listen, no more idhar-udhar multitasking. It's time to learn the truth. In the world of real Kamyabi, things are just never equal. Being busy is absolutely not the same as being productive.
Think about Pareto's principle, which you might know better as the 80-20 rule. It's the proven idea that a tiny minority of your effort, just 20%, actually leads to the vast majority, or 80% of your results. It's kind of wild when you think about it. A remarkably small amount of targeted, focused action creates almost all of your rewards.
Building on that, author Gary Keller suggests we need to take Pareto to the absolute extreme. You don't just stop at finding that top 20%. You keep subtracting. You narrow your to-do list from 25 things down to 5 until you find that one choti sibat, that one absolute core activity. You've got to ruthlessly ignore all the things you could do and zero in entirely on what you should do.
Which naturally brings us to the how. How does focusing on this one choti sibat build such massive momentum in your life? Well, as BJ Fortin beautifully put it, every great change starts like falling dominoes. We are going to dig into the incredible physics of dominoes to understand exactly how your single core focus sets off a massive chain reaction.
In a standard, linear progression, one domino knocks over another domino of the exact same size. Boring, right? But true success relies on what physicists call a geometric progression. Back in 1983, it was actually proven that a single domino can bring down another domino that is a full 50% larger than itself. So success doesn't just add up, it compounds exponentially over time.
Imagine how these dominoes escalate when they are lined up. A simple 2-inch domino holds enough potential energy to topple something massively larger if the setup is right. So the absolute crucial point here is that extraordinary success is sequential, not simultaneous. You do the right thing, and then you use that momentum to do the next right thing.
If you keep that geometric progression going, the math gets literally mind-blowing. By the time you hit the 18th domino, you are knocking over something the size of the Leaning Tower of Pisa. The 31st domino looms 3,000 feet above Mount Everest. And the 57th? It practically bridges the entire distance between the Earth and the Moon. Houston, we don't have a problem, we have a domino.
To see what this looks like in practice, take Gary Keller, for example. When his real estate company was really struggling, he didn't try to fix the whole shebang all at once. Instead, he analyzed his entire organization and found his single lead domino. 14 key people. He literally fired himself as CEO to focus entirely on finding and developing just those 14 individuals. That was the ultimate boss move, and it unleashed a geometric domino fall that resulted in a sustained 40% year-over-year growth for his company.
So how do you find your own lead domino? You have to ask what's called the focusing question. What's the one thing I can do such that by doing it, everything else will be easier or unnecessary? I want you to just take a second to really absorb that. It is quite possibly the most powerful tool you can use to organize your daily zindagi.
Let's break down the anatomy of this amazing question to see why it works so well. First, asking for the one thing sparks intensely focused action. You simply aren't allowed to hedge your bets with 3 or 4 different priorities. Second, it instantly identifies your first domino. And third, that specific phrase, easier or unnecessary, is the ultimate leverage test. It totally declutters your life by instantly eliminating everything that just doesn't matter. By answering this question every single day, you are constantly lining up your priorities anew. You find that first lead domino, and you just whack away at it until it falls. Because when you knock over the right task first, you are perfectly positioned to knock over the next one with even less effort. It's like having a superpower.
Okay, knowing your one thing is great, but how do we practically execute it in a world full of distractions? We use the absolute magic of time blocking. Time blocking is simply the practical reality of making a firm appointment with yourself and flat out refusing to miss it. Think about the stark contrast between how we normally operate and how a master operates. A typical day is scattered into tiny pieces. But to achieve real mastery, you need to dedicate a disproportionately huge chunk of your day to your one thing. Everything else, that just gets whatever time happens to be left over.
When you map this out on your schedule, you are blocking off large, uninterrupted chunks of time for your main priority. This is exactly what the legendary comedian Jerry Seinfeld did. He would put a big red X on his calendar every single day that he sat down and wrote a joke. His whole system was just, don't break the chain. Protect your time block fiercely, and whatever you do, don't break your chain.
Once you master this habit of time blocking your single priority, momentum just takes over. Nailing this one choti sipat serves as a rock-solid platform, and it naturally speeds up the process of doing everything else. Knowledge builds on knowledge, success builds on success, and your future dominoes are going to fall so much more easily.
So the crucial takeaway here is this. How big is your box? We so often artificially restrict our own potential, but going extremely small with your daily focus is actually the very thing that frees you to think incredibly big. You achieve extraordinary, massive results over time, strictly because you kept your immediate focus incredibly tight. I want to leave you with a really powerful, provocative thought today. You don't just happen upon an extraordinary life by accident. You build it sequentially, piece by piece. You are the very first domino in your own life. So tell me, what is the one thing you are going to do right now to start your own chain reaction? Thank you so much for joining me on This Was All Hot, and I will catch you on the next one.